That's right, Ebru. Primetime news on this 15th day of February 2021 begins right now. A very good evening and welcome aboard. My name is Kenneth Kazungu. Our sign language interpreter for tonight is Joyce Wairimo. President Uhuru Kenyatta has directed that the Gusii Stadium in Kisii County be renamed to Simeon Nyachae Stadium in honor of the late cabinet minister. Speaking in Kisii at the funeral service of the late Nyachae, President Kenyatta said an additional 150 million Kenya shillings will be allocated to the Kisii County government for the completion of the stadium before the end of this year. A wave of grief engulfed Kisii County today, which was bidding farewell to one of its illustrious sons, who served as cabinet minister and member of parliament, Simeon Nyachae. Family and friends thronged the Gusii Stadium to pay their last respects.
Papa wetu huyu ametuachia a lot of message. Kitu moja alituachia, Wakisii muungane muwe kitu kimoja. Hiyo alisema akarudia na akarudia.
In events that were devoid of politics.
The way you have personally committed yourself to give Mzee such a befitting farewell, I want to tell you the people you delegated this to. CS Matiang'i is here.
President Uhuru Kenyatta led the nation in mourning Nyachae, who was remembered for being a brave politician, an astute businessman, and a great family man.
Nyachae excelled as an administrator and eventually as in the main civil service, as a permanent secretary, and finally as a cabinet minister.
A brave and courageous politician and a loving, strict, but also forgiving father.
And it is here that the president gave a directive that would immortalize Nyachae.
And to fortify our appreciation of this great son of Kenya, as a government, we have considered it fit to rename this stadium the Simeon Nyachae Stadium Kisii.
Nimefika tu Matanga, nimeambiwa ninatafutwa, and then I had to leave.
It was an event that also had its fair share of drama after Kisii Deputy Governor Joash Maangi, South Mugirango MP Silvanus Osoro, and 4 others were said to be arrested amid claims of a plan to disrupt the burial service.
I don't know the reason, but I guess it's normal, politics or normal questioning. The Deputy Governor is also arrested, I'm told. He told me.
What do you make of it?
Your guess could be as good as mine. Deputy Governor is arrested, I am arrested. Omwando is arrested. Your guess is as good as mine. Yes, perhaps my only mistake is supporting William Ruto. That is it.
The 88-year-old Nyachae breathed his last on February 1st at the Nairobi hospital, where he had been admitted for over a month.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Thank you. Waziri Matiang'i, Daktari.
Now, Monday was a dark day for the country following the demise of Garissa Senator Yusuf Haji. President Kenyatta, who joined Muslim faithfuls for the burial of Haji at the Lang'ata Cemetery, described him as a dependable, patriotic and peace-loving leader who endured hurdles in uniting warring parties. And as our reporter Jeff Haima reports, Senator Haji, at the time of his death, was chairing the Building Bridges Initiative task force that being spearheaded for a referendum. I'm being told that story is being worked on right now. But let us focus on the death of Haji also. And the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, or SUPKEM, is urging Kenyans to practice political tolerance and emulate the late Garissa Senator Yusuf Haji, who was a peacemaker. Speaking in Mombasa County, SUPKEM National Chairperson Hassan Olenado eulogized Haji as an iconic, visionary Muslim leader and a peace mediator with a development agenda. Haji, who died earlier today, had served the country in various capacities, from a provincial administrator to the Ministry of Defense.
We have lost a key leader, not only in the marhum Yusuf Haji. We all remember that even today Kenyans are mourning the late Mzee Simon Yachai, who will be buried today. I urge Kenyans, because of the leadership, or the exemplary leadership of these great leaders, we all of us step back and think of what we want and where we want Kenya to go. It is high time we reduce the political tension in the country and reflect on the position these leaders were able to take in the country. Both of them, especially Yusuf Haji, is a peacemaker. He was the chairman of the BBI task force. As we deliberate on the BBI and other political issues in the country, it is important that as Kenyans, we maintain peace and we do all what we can to ensure all our activities are peaceful.
Investigators from the World Health Organization looking into the origins of the coronavirus in China have discovered signs that the outbreak was much wider in Wuhan in December of 2019 than previously thought, and are urgently seeking access to hundreds of thousands of blood samples from the city that China has not so far left them examine. The lead investigator for the WHO mission, Peter Ben Mbarek, says the mission had found several signs of the more wide-ranging 2019 spread, including establishing for the first time there were a dozen strains of the virus in Wuhan already in December. The team also had a chance to speak to the first patient the Chinese officials said had been infected, an officer working in his 40s with no travel history of note, reported infected on December 8th. Staying with the COVID-19 caseload tonight, and the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the country has risen to 100,014 after 147 people tested positive for the disease out of a sample size of 2,063 that were tested in the last 24 hours. A statement from the Health Ministry confirmed the country's positivity rate is now 7.3%.
From the cases, 119 are Kenyans, while 28 are foreigners, 75 are male, while 72 are female, with age ranging from 5 months to 88 years old. The new cases are distributed across the country, including Nairobi with 107 cases, Kiambu 9, Mombasa and Uasin Gishu 4, Laikipia, Kajiado and Meru 3 cases each, while Machakos, Makueni and Nakuru 2 cases each. Nyamira, Nyeri, Trans Nzoia, Busia, Embu, Isiolo, Kitui and Kilifi has a single case each. 242 patients have recovered from the disease, out of which 151 were from the home-based care program, while 91 were discharged from various health facilities. Total recoveries now stand at 85,250. The ministry further reported that currently there are 254 patients currently admitted in various hospitals across the country. Another 1,227 patients are on the home-based care program. A total of 34 patients are in ICU, out of which 15 are on ventilatory support. Also, 8 patients are separately on supplementary oxygen in general wards. For the second day in a row, the country's fatalities remain at 1,795 as no death was reported. The cumulative tests in the country now stand at 1,243,431. Winnie Lubembe for Ebru TV.
Moving on to other stories now, and Wilson Sossion, that is the Kenya National Union of Teachers Secretary General, has issued a 2-week strike notice to the government regarding the new salary structure. The notice comes barely 2 months since the students resumed learning after almost 1-year break due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
According to Secretary General Wilson Sossion, the current salary rates where teachers are earning a cumulative sum of 54 billion shillings was negotiated to cover for the 2017-2021 CBA, and which ends in June this year. In his letter dated February 10th, Sossion argues that despite many pleas by the union to start negotiations On the 2021-2025 new collective bargaining agreement, the teacher's employer is yet to respond. Sosion says NAT is aware that TSC has been having consultative meetings with the Salaries and Remuneration Commission SRC concerning the new CBA, something that Sosion has faulted because the union has not been consulted. During the consultation, the NAT boss says TSC had told the SRC to raise the basic salaries between 16% to 30%. However, he argues that the 16% raise proposal by TSC should be meant for administrative teachers only. NAT and the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers KUPPET had also submitted salary proposals after claiming they were not consulted in the decision-making on the new salary scales. Union Secretary General Wilson Sosion proposes that teachers not in administrative position should get a flat rate increment of 30%. Busara Naman for Ebru TV.
Let us now revisit our earlier story where Monday was a dark day for the country following the demise of Garissa Senator Yusuf Haji. President Uhuru Kenyatta, who joined the Muslim faithfuls for the burial of Haji at the Langata Cemetery, described him as a dependable, patriotic and peace-loving leader who endured hurdles in uniting warring parties. And as our reporter Jeff Haima now tells us, Senator Haji, at the time of his death, was the chairperson of the Building Bridges Initiative Task Force, which of course is the proponents of a referendum in this country.
Kenyans on Monday woke up to sad news over the death of Yusuf Haji, the Garissa grey-haired second-term senator. Before meeting his death, Haji was receiving treatment at the Aga Khan University Hospital days after jetting back in the country from Turkey, where he had underwent for the same treatment. Family, friends and the colleagues of the late senator had earlier on gathered at his home at Riverside in Nairobi to pay their final respect for his passing. Later on, the body of Senator Yusuf Haji was ferried to Musjidino Mosque at South Sea for send-off prayers. Thousands of the congregants attended the prayers, which included the political class.
And he has always cherished the best in people by nurturing them and giving them right advice. May God rest him in peace.
If there is one person that I can truly describe as patriotic among the many Kenyans and who can easily form part of the making of the nation state of Kenya is Mr. Yusuf Haji.
We have lost an elder, we have lost a leader, and the community has lost.
Muslim faithfuls gathered here to partake dua to bid farewell Haji. Political leaders who filled the airspace include Mombasa County Governor Hassan Joho, his Garissa counterpart Ali Korani, Garissa Township Member of Parliament Eden Duale, and the Treasury Cabinet Secretary Rukuria Tani.
If there is any adjectives to describe Yusuf Haji, I ran short of them. He's not only a peacemaker, but beyond. He's contributed wherever you find Yusuf Haji. He must be in the midst of reconciling communities, reconciling individuals, always giving advice.
Ameweka baraka kwa jamii ya Waislamu na Wakenya wote, na hakuwa mtu wa kubagua watu.
So the best we can do right now is to pray for him, to be part of his legacy, and ensure that some of the things that he has wisely counseled us on peace, on being progressive. People will say he was old, but he had a very progressive, very sharp mind.
When I entered politics, the late Haji, I had met him earlier because we are in the same circle with some of his children.
The prayers lasted for about 20 minutes and immediately they set off to Langata Muslim Cemetery to perform the final rituals. At the burial ceremony, President Uhuru Kenyatta, Deputy President William Ruto, and the opposition leader Raila Odinga were in attendance to bid farewell to the senator.
Kutoka awe mtu mzima mpaka dakika ya mwisho hajakuwa na jukumu lingine isipokuwa kutumikia taifa letu la Kenya, kutumikia wananchi wa jamhuri hii yetu ya Kenya.
The head of state lauded Haji as a dependable and patriotic leader who in many occasions endured hurdles in uniting warring parties. Besides being a peace-loving leader, Haji stood firm in decision-making, and at one time he differed with President Kenyatta during the division of the revenue allocation, disputing the one-man, one-vote, one-shilling scores.
Mzee Haji, mashauri yake haikuwa ya kitu chochote, ni mashauri ya kutoka kwa roho, ya kutoka fikira zake, na ndipo nilikuwa na muamini vile nilimwamini.
At the time of his death, Haji was the chairperson of the Building Bridges Initiative, a BBI task force. He rose on various ranks as a public servant during the former president, the late Daniel Moi, former President Mwai Kibaki, and President Uhuru Kenyatta of the Jubilee government. In the year 1970 to the year 1998, Haji served as the country's then most powerful provincial commissioners. In the year 2002, he was nominated to Parliament, and in 2007, he was elected as the Member of Parliament for Ijara unopposed. In 2008, Haji was appointed the country's defense minister, where he served until 2013. While serving as the defense minister, Haji was appointed in acting capacity as the Minister of the Internal Security, following the demise of the then Minister George Saitoti. In the year 2013 and 2017 general elections, Haji contested and won a senatorial seat for the Garissa County. Before his death, Haji was the chairperson of the National Security and Administration at the Senate. Besides being a peace ambassador, Haji was the Council of Elder for the pastoralist community, where he advised and gave direction on political matters. And now a bigger gap has been created, where Garissa Town Member of Parliament Edwin Duale says he is ready to take over the mantle.
Oh yes. What we learned from Haji, we will drive the agenda of the pastoralists, the agenda of the Muslim community, and the agenda of the Somali community. That's why we are leaders. We have no other business. You know that? We don't sell mandazi, my friend.
Haji passed away at the age of 80 years after a long illness. It's a huge blow for the pastoralist community following the demise of Yusuf Haji, a man who has on several occasions acted as the Council of Elder on matters of politics in the region. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jeff Khaimba.
At this point in time, we want to bring on board Professor Naitule Gitile, a former commissioner of the NCIC, a regular contributor right here at Ebru TV and a political analyst, to help us understand the state of our nation. And of course, good evening, Prof. Very good to have you this evening.
To you and good evening to your viewers.
Prof, today has been a very dark day in our country. We have laid to rest two former cabinet ministers. And let us now briefly look at their legacies. And let us start with Senator Haji, who passed on earlier on this morning. We understand he was the chair of the task force on the BBI. But from where you sit, what would Senator Haji be remembered for? What is his legacy if somebody were to ask you that, Prof?
Well, he has served with the government and the people of Kenya for a very long time. He was a provincial commissioner. I think that part, I don't know if people remember before he became the senator. Mm-hmm. So he has served the public for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I think both under Moi and Kibaki, he has been a long time civil servant. Let's put it that way.
All right, Prof. And
I don't know. Also, the BBI, the first phase of the BBI also seemed to be quite balanced before we went to phase 2. Mm-hmm. You can attribute that to his maturity.
All right. Miles away from Nairobi, we were also laying to rest former cabinet minister Simeon Nyachai, all the way in Kisii County. He raised from provincial administration, just like Haji, into the political ranks. Both of them served in cabinet. What would we remember Simeon Nyachai for, Prof, tonight?
Chief Secretary in the civil service. At least that's what I remember. I understand he was a very tough disciplinarian when he served as the end of public service at the time, during that time. I met him. I had an incident when I was in Egerton when he lost his son-in-law. An incident that, in my opinion, we don't talk about good and bad about the dead people, but that incident, in my opinion, didn't cast him as a very caring, loving person, because that man, was called Muchachi, he was a lecturer at Egerton. And he was telling his family not to think that they can take the land which he had donated to him and their daughter.
Okay.
That wasn't so sweet, because that family was very humble, and that's an incident which I remember. That time I was Minister for Agriculture. So, of course, I mean, I can't say I know any of these people very well, because, they were served in the time when I was in school, in secondary school, in primary school. So I wouldn't claim to have a lot of knowledge, but at least for Nyashai, that incident kind of took me aback, because I expect that when you have a lot of property, you'll be very loving to family, and especially when they are bereaved. When they have also lost a son, you have lost son-in-law, they also lost a son. That incident is kind of stuck in my mind for a long time.
All right, Prof. If you look at both Senator Haji and Simeon Nyachae, they were quite elderly. Both of them were in their 80s. And as soon as they passed on, their communities, the Kisii community and the Garissa community, does not really look like they have a person to fill into their shoes. They are being referred to as supremos from both their communities, but there seems not to be somebody who we can pinpoint as somebody who fits into their shoes. Prof, what does this speak about the Kenyan culture of leaders not grooming successors, not grooming power, as in they're serving for a very long time, and then when they leave us, the community look like they do not have a spokesperson, for lack of a better word?
In fact, for me, it makes both of the departed to be very good people. Grooming should always be national. We should stop thinking about any tribal leader grooming another tribal chief. Because what we need is to demystify this tribe and mystify Kenyaniness. So we should be praising their public service, praising their nationalism, praising their love for Kenya, but we should not get worried that they don't have a tribal king of which to live or to earn the power to. I think if both of them never cared to do that, that means they were very good Kenyans. They were nationalists. We need to get away from this tribe. The tribe has kept us down for a very long time. The idea that we always need to have a tribal king who can sell us to the other tribal chiefs during elections is dangerous. Is what has kept our elections actually, our election cycles every 5 years, empty in terms of the total lack of intellectual programs, economic programs, economic vision that can move us forward as a country, because it's very easy to package the tribe and sell the tribe. It's an emotional being. So when you mention that they didn't groom another tribal chief to live as they pass on in the other world, that means these were good Kenyans, in my opinion. We need to get away completely from that. That is what has kept us down. We need to force our leaders to always have a vision for Kenya as a country. Have a vision, an economic vision that can make our lives better. You can see with increasing taxes and so on, we suffer the consequences of bad policies together as a people. So when they work like they did, for me, that was very positive. And it's something that we should love as Kenyans.
All right, well said, Professor there. I want us to move to the next subject of our conversation this evening, and it has everything to do with what happened yesterday, Sunday. We understand we are about a year and a half to the general elections in 2022, and for those people who have been in Kenya for a while, we understand this is when everything is happening. We're seeing political realignments, we're seeing political teams coming on board, and yesterday, the former or the now retired UNCTAD Secretary General, Dr. Muhisa Kitui, Prof, threw his hat into the ring and said he wants to be the president of the Republic of Kenya. I want to get your immediate thoughts about that move by Dr. Moisa Kitui first, Prof.
I think that is a good move by Dr. Kitui to announce that he's going to run for president. I've listened to 2 interviews he has given so far, one on Citizen and the other one in the Daily Nation. I read it is Sunday Nation. He appears to have a very solid idea on how to deal with the economy, because our problem is economic and corruption. So if the Kenyans can gravitate around his candidacy, then he should provide us with a very good alternative to the traditional people we are used to. Because what I'm seeing, and that's why I'm insisting that we are moving away from selling the tribe to selling an economic and a social transformation. We have been having what is called transactional lenders. These are lenders who look for personal benefit for themselves and actually their families, but they fool the tribe. They think that they are benefiting the tribe, but they are benefiting themselves, their friends, and their families. So if we can move from there, this is why personally I've liked the idea of the Ashola as not the dynasties as such, because I don't like that term, because that term look like it's targeting some people, and every Kenyan has a right to want to be president, whether your father was president or prime minister or vice president, you have a right. But you can say liberals versus conservatives. So slowly, we are moving into areas where people will be identified by their programs, what they can do for us. And listening to Mukisa on Citizen, reading his interview on Daily Nation, I am impressed. He said that you like the people who have been in the political scene to be with him, but not him moving with them. In other words, he's determined not to carry bad history, because he doesn't. He's a clean candidate, and I think he will serve integrity, and I think this is a very good thing. What I hope is that the Kenyans can actually begin to differentiate candidates by what they are planning to do for us, and also what they have done in the past, because this is very important. You see, we need to be reminded the sober nature with which Kibaki led with the old constitution, with the more basically constitution. And he succeeded because he was a transformational leader. He was not a transactional leader. So if Mukisa Kitui comes and sells himself as a transformational leader, as opposed to transactional leader, we should embrace him and listen to him and look at his agenda and now compare with the existing candidates, which I think is so far now is the deputy president and the former prime minister.
Now, Prof, but
they are the ones who are clearly declared.
Okay. But if we look at the politics of this country, Prof, and you and I have been around for a while and we know how it works, it boils down to the people who go to the ballot and vote. So, and Kenyans, very many Kenyans, when you ask them on the streets, they'll tell you they do not relate to the likes of Dr. Moisa Kitui. They do not really relate with clean politics, for lack of a better word. They are used to politics of ethnicization, ethnic balkanization, politics of not so clean politics. That is what Kenyans, for lack of a better word, like. That is evident in the campaigns that we have been witnessing in our country in the past few weeks. So what chances does Dr. Moisa Kitui have, really, if he has to come into the race as a clean politician? That doesn't seem to augur well with Kenyans, Prof.
I think my experience when I was a commissioner at the National Cohesion and Integration is that we have actually grown as a people.
Okay.
We have realized that when we face bad policies, we face bad policies together. When the cost of living goes up, it goes up together. I think we have changed. The politicians may not have noticed this, but there is a change. There is a change in the country. In fact, I will tell you, right now, the deputy president appears fairly popular. It's because of that change. because this sort of thing has transcended the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
It has transcended the tribe because Kenyans have realized that they suffer consequences of bad policies as a people.
Okay.
So I don't know what you are addressing is actually correct in looking at the past, but it looks at our consciousness as our people have risen. You see what they say in the political speak is that the people get a government they deserve. In other words, a government is an innocent mirror of the people it represents.
Okay.
So if it's an innocent mirror, then the leaders express our corruption ourselves as a people.
Okay.
We are moving away from that. We are beginning to realize that when you are a president, we need to know exactly what you plan to do for us. We need to know what you have done in the past.
All right.
And we can now analyze you without reference to your tribe. Because referring to your tribe, the tribe is not running for president. An individual Kenyan is running for president. So it's my hope is that the Kenyans give Dr. Mugisa Kitui a chance and they listen to him so that they can evaluate him against other candidates.
All right, Prof. I want you to hold that thought. I'm being told we have to go for a break now. We have some bills to pay, but I want you to stick around because when you come back, we'll be looking at the developments at the ICC, Karim Khan now becoming the chief prosecutor and what that means for our country. You want to stick around for that. All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We're still having Professor Naitule Gichili on with the conversation tonight, the state of our nation and the events that have been shaping the news in our country in the past few days. And Prof, thank you for staying with us. We also what happened at the International Criminal Court on Friday. Former Deputy President William Ruto's lawyer, the ICC, Karim Khan, was elected to be the ICC prosecutor, taking on the baton from Fatou Bensouda. And this move, Prof, very many Kenyans have been reading it from very many prisms. Another saying it will have impact. Of course, we understand we have a case facing lawyer Paul Gisheru in that ICC. And very many people say it is likely to impact that particular case. I don't know what your thoughts are about that, Prof.
Well, no, these people are very professionals. They are extremely professional and legal. They stick to the law. Mm-hmm. They separate the fiction with the facts. So very likely, Karim Khan will recast himself as a prosecutor over that case because he worked with the defense on the same case. So he will simply recast himself, and there is other staff who carry out the prosecution of Bugejero. Mm-hmm. I don't think it will affect it either way because these fellows, they look strictly at the law. They are not going to look at other things. Facts presented about the case. Even in our courts, sometimes our judges actually do look at the facts, of course others don't. Mm-hmm. But it's different for the Europeans. The Europeans worship the law. Okay. For the Europeans, the law is God.
But Prof, we understand...
you don't expect either to work against or for. It will simply be the law, and they will look at the facts as presented, and then they look at the law applied to those facts.
But Prof, if we look at the case facing Kenyan lawyer Paul Gisheru, the ICC, who in the past few months actually says he presented himself before the court voluntarily, and if this case were to proceed, Professor, this case has very serious implications on the Deputy President William Ruto because it has everything to do with his witnesses, and Gisheru, it is being said, has some knowledge of what happened at the period where we saw witnesses disappearing and witnesses changing their testimonies, recanting their testimonies. Now, with Karim Khan at the helm of the ICC prosecution department, doesn't this, Professor, then reek of a serious conflict of interest? Because online I've been seeing supporters of the Deputy President actually cheering that move, and now they're saying with Karim Khan at the ICC, at the chief prosecutor, then we can now rest easy because he has links, albeit weak, with the Deputy President.
I think those who are saying that, they're assuming that the deputy president is guilty. That is wrong assumption. Because what you have is allegations. The fact will be presented before the court. And believe me, it won't matter, because I don't think the chief prosecutor has the capacity to influence the decisions at that court. You see, he's merely leading a team. So I don't think so. But I also think the Kenyans needed to stop speculating about the certain things, because we really don't know what happened. We know these people the case was suspended, actually. They were not even terminated. If new evidence emerges, any of them can be prosecuted. I think we should stop assumptions that they were guilty, because they were never proved guilty. All the Kenyans who are charged, no, they were not able. We also stop the assumption that they tampered with the witnesses, because we don't know. But we will know when the Gishero is put on trial, when the court produces evidence to show that. So if Gishero has specific evidence he participated, he could actually end up in jail. Because you see, he will confess in that court, it is, I don't think, I know that in the court system, there is provisions where you can turn into state witness. I don't think ICC has that provision. I don't know. I've not looked at that statute properly. But I can tell you this: if he has evidence of tampering and who tampered, then he will produce that evidence. Then they will weigh that evidence. And regardless of who is the prosecutor, those people will follow the fact and allow the fact to fall wherever they may. That is not the court which you can have political influence or bribery or favoritism. Because you see, the International Criminal Court that's why we need to support it, because it is supposed to guard the weak against the strong. And we know African leaders has been quite complicated, not just here, throughout this continent. They think they own the law, and they do whatever they want to do to their citizens. So I think they want to protect the integrity of that court. I don't think anyone will interfere with the integrity of that court.
All right, Professor Gitile Naituli, we have a lot to talk, but we have very little time. I'm afraid that will be it for our interview tonight. But always a pleasure speaking to you, Prof, and thank you so much for your insights tonight and every other night. Thank you. We don't take it for granted.
Thank you, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Now, moving on to other stories tonight, and police have arrested 7 boys in connection with the setting ablaze of a dormitory at the Katangi High School in Yatta, that is in Machakos County. Yatta DCIO Bernard Rono confirmed the arrest of the students, 6 of whom are in Form 3, while 1 is in Form 2. The dormitory was set on fire on February 11th this year, with property estimated to be worth 3.5 million shillings destroyed. The 7 students were detained at the Matu police station pending arraignment. All right, from Machakos, let us go all the way to Nakuru County, where a 15-year-old boy has died following a fire incident in Naivasha. According to the neighbors, the 15-year-old boy was sleeping in the house when the fire incident started. However, they were unable to rescue the boy. Area leaders have now turned their guns on the county government of Nakuru for relocating the fire truck from Lakeview to Nakuru town.
A somber mood engulfed the Hindu village in Naivasha after a 15-year-old boy, mentally unstable, was burnt beyond recognition while sleeping in his parents' house.
Ni kwa nini gari letu lichukuliwe lipelekwe Nakuru kana kwamba sisi hakuna pesa tunatoaga? Sisi tunataka lile gari lirudishwe hapa. Kama ni mipango itafanywa, governor na serikali yake wafanye mpango, wanunue gari lingine wapeleke Nakuru, lakini yetu tunaitaka hapa. Hatutavumilia kuona nyumba zetu zikiugua. Hawa wananchi wanatupiga kila siku.
During the incident, another mentally challenged girl managed to escape, though their house and all their personal effects were reduced to ashes.
Na kwa hivyo tunaona ya kwamba hii mikasa imetokea sana. Hapa tuliko kuna nyumba 4 ambazo tayari zimeteketea katika msimu wa miezi mitatu. Juzi pia kumeteketea pale. Na kwa hivyo ndipo tunasema ya kwamba kama kungekuweko na gari lazima moto karibu, huu moto haungefanya madhara ambayo umefanya, kwa sababu kulikuweko na kungekuwa na usaidizi. Kwa hivyo sisi tunauliza ya kwamba kaunti ifanye jitihada kuhakikisha ya kwamba gari la zimamoto limerejeshwa sehemu hii ya Naivasha.
Kutoka Nakuru mpaka hapa ni nini itakuja kuokoa? Kabla haijafika Toro Station wanapata simu ingine warudi sijui Moro, sijui Joro, moto imepatikana huko. Hata wao wanachanganyikiwa pale katikati. Ni kazi gani tunafanya?
Lakeview MCA Simon Wanyoike lashed out at the county government for relocating the firefighters from the region. Police have launched investigations into the incident.
Tunauliza wadhamini ambao wanaweza tusaidia ili tuweze kwanza kumsaidia ili nyumba irudi, na pili tuweze kupata hata chakula, kwa sababu hakuna kitu ambayo kimeokolewa. Hii nyumba imeteketea yote, kukaungua kila kitu. Kwa hivyo tunauliza wahisani ambao wanaweza tusaidia.
Abdiaziz Hashim, Ebru TV.
All right, from county number 32, let us go back to county number 27, where a section of leaders across Uasin Gishu County have raised concern over the possible spike in instances of crime and lawlessness after the youth empowerment program Kazungu ends in about a month. The leaders are now calling on the government to find alternative ways of engaging the young people before the situation goes out of hand.
Najua kwamba kazi kwa vijana imeshaisha. So ningependa national government, kuna hizi projects za reli ambazo ziko. Ningependa kuomba pia wa include youth wetu. Na hiyo tunasema ni youth pia empowerment, ili wakuwe busy, waache tu ku idle, maana kazi saa hizi hakuna. Lakini national government ikiweza kutusaidia, vijana wetu pia wataweza kusaidika.
Reli juzi walipofika walianza kufunja manyumba na kubomoa manyumba, ili hali uchumi bado haijakuwa. Tungeomba serikali afadhali, at least wangeongea na watu wa Kenya Reli. At least wangepatia watu mpaka uchumi at least ikue, because the economy is not doing that well, na sasa hizo manyumba zimefunjwa. So kama wamefanya hivyo, tunaomba basi wakati wanapoendelea kutengeneza hiyo reli wapatie vijana kazi. Sasa hizi pesa hakuna kabisa. So tungependa kuomba serikali at least wakuwe sensitive, na those people who are advising the government in terms of the economic advisors, they should be very sensitive on what is happening to the people. Wanasukuma vitu vingine na iliale wananchi wanaumia.
Mambo ya kazi ambayo ilikuwa ya vijana. Kwanza sisi kama county tutaenda tukae chini tuweze kuona kama tunaweza pia absorb whatever it was being done by the national government, pia kama tunaweza absorb so that we can do it here in our county government. Hizi makazi za railways ambayo pia zitakuja, we will be on the forefront ya kuweza kuombea mavijana wenzetu waweze kupata kazi. Vijana wengi walikuwa idle, and you know what comes up with idle minds. Vitu mingi ilikuwa inafanyika, lakini vile serikali ilikuja ikasaidia vijana, maneno ya insecurity iliweza kwenda chini. Pia wasichana wetu, the early pregnancy this time pia imeenda chini kabisa, because they were all involved kwa hiyo makazi ya vijana.
Ninaomba wakumbuke vijana wa kwetu hapa Huruma Ward, wapewe 70%. Vijana wote ambao watachukuliwa mahali pale wakue 50% itatoka Spain. Hiyo ni area ambayo imekuwa na shida sana. Vijana hawana nafasi za kazi, so
The national government has launched a training program for border riders through the NYS that is aimed at reducing unemployment among the young people in Machakos County. The program should enable riders to acquire business skills, smart licenses, and relatively reduce road accidents, as our reporter Lucy Riley now tells us.
Unemployment has been a major challenge facing the youth in the country, and as the government tries to solve this challenge, the national government today launched a flagship training program in Machakos County. There are more than 5,000 youths that are in the border industry, yet it has been found that many lack driver's licenses and the business acumen to grow their businesses. Speaking during the launch of the new training program through the NYS, Dr. Alfred Mutua outlined some of the challenges experienced by border riders and how the government would combat them.
Ule chairman wa bodaboda ameniambia kwamba kuna vijana about 5,000 ambao wako na leseni, lakini wengi hawana leseni. Hao 5,000 ambao wako na leseni, mnapaswa sasa kwenda kusoma ndio mpate ile smart license, ambayo kama hauna hiyo utakuwa unawekwa ndani na polisi. Lakini hiyo smart license ndio ipate, lazima sasa kulingana na mlengo ambao umeletwe, ulipe 750 shillings kwa kusoma kwa siku 5. Ndio uweze kupata hiyo, ulipe 750, wale wenye leseni uweze kupata hiyo. Kama una leseni unalipa 4,500, 4,500 instead of the normal 10,000, ndio upate nini? Upate leseni.
Moreover, he assured the youth that his government would pay for the driver's license and pay a percentage of their smart licenses.
Vijana wote wa Machakos ambao wako na leseni ya bodaboda ambao wataenda kujifunza kwa mpango huu wa kuweza kupata hiyo leseni ya smart, serikali yangu itawalipia kila kitu, kazi yako ni kwenda kusoma. Na wale vijana wengi ambao wako kule nje hawana leseni, wanaendesha bodaboda kiolela, ukipata ajali hauna insurance kwa sababu una leseni, na hiyo shida nyingi, hiyo 4,500 nitakaa chini na baraza langu la mawaziri tuangalie out of that tutasubsidize ngapi, ulipe ngapi na si tulipe ngapi.
Professor Margaret Kobia, the CS for Public Service and Gender, said that the boda industry turned over an annual revenue of more than 300 billion Kenyan shillings, hence the keen interest to help the youth grow in this sector.
Boda sector generates about 320 billion every year. So for the economic value and also being able to give jobs to the youth, and when we give jobs to about 1,005 or 1.7, 1.5, the data is around there, then there are about 4 people who depend on each one of these people engaged in boda.
This program is aimed at helping the youth create employment, reduce road accidents, and increase revenue.
Mafunzo ya vijana wetu hayajakuwa yakifaa vizuri sana. Sasa tunataka kunyorosha. Ndio kijana akiwa kwa bodaboda ajifunzi tu kupeleka bodaboda vizuri, lakini pia atakuwa anafunzwa ile mambo ya kufanya biashara. Atoke kuwa mtu ambaye anatumia bodaboda na anampelekea mwenye bodaboda pesa, afikie mahali yuko na bodaboda yake mwenyewe, mahali yeye mwenyewe anaweza nunua hata matatu, akanunua basi, akaendelea mbele.
For Ebru TV, my name is Lucy Riley.
Now, the triumphant Kenya Paralympic team jetted back in the country today from the just concluded Dubai Athletics Grand Prix Paralympic qualifiers. Kenya bagged a total of 20 medals in the event, where 6 were gold medals. Nancy Chelagat won 2 gold medals, with Vincent Mutai, Eric Sang, Kipruto Felix and Kipruto Rogers bagging 1 bronze each.
The team was put to camp before traveling to Dubai. So the ministry really supported this team. It was in camp for 10 days, whereby we really did our best in our training. We trained them, and they were also training before even the camp. They were training, and we used to follow up because everyone's focus is Tokyo. So we believe this time, with the support of the ministry, we are going to get a good performance.
Kama hiyo class T46 400 meters haikuwa rahisi, ilikuwa tough. Lakini nilikuwa nimejipanga, nikasema sitaki niende out of medal. Na nashukuru nimekuja nayo.
My expectation that I will improve in my performance, that is one thing. And also not only in my performance but also on my time, because I think I have to reach kuna madakika ambayo nafaa kukata. So that is one thing that I have to work on and prove that I can do it.
And that is Ebru Primetime News on this 15th day of February 2021. On behalf of the super amazing team that has helped put this bulletin together, thank you so much, Kenneth, for watching. My name is Kenneth Kazungu. Our sign language interpreter for tonight has been Joyce Warimo. I want to wish you a good night. And in anything that you continue to do, ensure that you take care of yourself and one another. See you soon, and God bless you.